Judge Floyd. I feel like people kind of put him on the same pedestal as Martin Luther King. And I feel like, don't do that. Hello, what's the crack? What's the story? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out Candace Owens. I have no clue who she is, but she said Judge Floyd is not a hero. This is going to be interesting. Let's just go. Let's go.
People still do not know what happened on the day that George Floyd died. They've never even seen any video outside of the 9-minute video.
Same here, to be honest with you, I don't really know. All I knew was that there was a video of the police, kneeling on George Floyd's neck, and then I just became an uproar. Not really, I don't really know the backstory. It'd be good to actually see why did they get there in the first place. But what was crazy, and I think it went off in America first, but then over here in the UK, there was protest everywhere. I never went out and protest, and I'll tell you the reason why later on, but let's just watch this. Let's go.
Video that was played over and over and over. Seen any video outside of the 9-minute video that was played over and over and over again on loop, and they purposefully held back just releasing the police cam, which would have cleared up so many of the lies.
And it's amazing the emotional power of the narrative as opposed to the truth, the story they tell. Joe Biden, a man who's been in government since the 1970s, got on television and said, we are an inherently racist society, an inherently racist government. He basically talked about this trial as if it were difficult to get a conviction of a police officer who has killed a person, which just isn't true. It just isn't true. If you have the testimony, if you have the evidence, you can convict a police officer in this country. He was talking as if it were 40 years ago. People were weeping in the streets when this verdict came in, as if it were not a done deal, as if it wasn't the Derek Chauvin who was the guy under the...
I felt so scared for him, May. Oh my God. I feel like back in 2020, June 2020, he was the most hated man in the world. Like his picture was, nah. But yeah, what happened prior to the 9 minutes? Because they haven't actually spoke about it. What was the reason? Like how did they get there? How did it get to the point where the police felt they had to do that? Do you know what I mean? It was messed up. Don't get me wrong, it was absolutely messed up. Hopefully they do speak about it. Let's just see.
Under pressure. It's amazing how completely the press, working together with the left, has sold this narrative that this is a racist country. I lived out of this country for most of the 90s. This is the least racist country on the face of the planet.
You would think that former Vice President Joe Biden would acknowledge the fact that America is not a backwards racist country, as he stood next to the first black man to be elected as president of the United States 2 times, right? This is a majority white country, 60% white country. It would not have happened. Barack Obama would have never been president had it not.
I think it's more big because America is a massive country. United States of America is a massive country. I think there's about 300 million of you guys. And so when things happen, people don't see the other 290 million that's, living a good life, wherever. But when this big stuff happens, it becomes bigger. You know what I mean? When something happens, when you see a policeman, being racist, whatever, it blows up bigger. But when you see a policeman doing something good, you'd never see that. Because United States is you guys have a culture where you have black people, white people, Asian people, Latino coming together. Sometimes I could be watching a show, wherever. I could be like in Florida or wherever, and just the way people mix together, it's ridiculous. I'm like, and then sometimes I tend to forget, things are so good, and then you might just out of nowhere, there's a policeman being racist. Like, there's two different parts. And I feel like everywhere has a racist part. Where I live now, Birmingham, is the most multicultural area in Europe, in the whole of Europe. I feel like there's more non-whites in the area I live in than there are whites. And people are so... I don't experience racism over here. I hardly ever experience racism. But I feel like it just depends who you are and how you approach life. I'm the kind of person that there's some things that some people might think it's racist. I might just see it as, it's just ignorance. And once I tell them about it, it goes away. There's been times where I'll be at work and then somebody says something, and then once I correct them, they know not to do it again. It's about how you do it. Don't make them feel uncomfortable. Don't make them feel too bad, especially when they're not doing it to be mean. Once they're doing it of just ignorance, just correct them. Do you know what I mean? But there, regarding Judge Floyd, I feel like people kind of put him on the same pedestal as Martin Luther King, and I feel like, don't do that. What happened to him was messed up, but don't compare both. Obviously, it opened the eyes of everyone to see all the stuff that was happening to black people, but do not. Martin Luther King, man, come on. Don't do that. Don't. This is just my opinion. It'd be good to see you guys' opinion as well. Everyone has an opinion. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Let's get back to this.
Been for the fact that America has moved on from race, but they don't want us to move on from race anymore, and that's exactly where we're getting at.
That's all they've got.
And I want to get to this tweet because I was so physically nauseated by it. It was from the mayor of Minnesota. He says, ready, George Floyd came to Minneapolis to better his life, but ultimately his life will have bettered our city. The jury joined in a shared conviction that has animated Minneapolis for the last 11 months. They refused to look away and affirmed he should still be here today. Brandon, Minneapolis to better his life. When you want to better your life, how much fentanyl do you take?
Simon says, I don't.
Again, I'm so sorry for pausing, but it's a reaction channel. One thing I also noticed is the fact that all these companies that started Black Lives Matter, when they didn't care, no one cared prior to, no one really, not cared, but like no one was looking into this matter. But I feel like there was so many companies. It could be Apple, it could be, there was a lot of, even just big companies literally started caring, you know, oh my God, you know, about black creators. Just live life, because then people felt like they had to, you know, watch how they talk to black people. Do you know how many times, like, I'll be playing football and then someone will want to say something that's just normal. They want to say, oh yeah, that black footballer, but they'll be like, oh, that footballer. I'm like, which footballer? Like, you know, that guy, that guy. I'm like, what guy? They were scared to say normal stuff. Like now, if I was to describe a white person, I'm like, yeah, you know, white, you know, John. Like, who's John? Yeah, the white guy. I don't think that's racist. You know what I mean? If I start saying things like, you know, that chocolate fella. If someone said chocolate fella to me, I'd be like, it's not, don't say chocolate, you know, but it's like, yeah, you probably say the black, however. But it's about ignorance, and then it's about learning and moving forward. It's the same thing with the whole Russia thing. I feel like not a lot of companies care about Ukraine and everything, but they know them caring, them showing that they care. They donate 2% or 3% of the sales going to Ukraine. Make people, oh my God, I'm like, but it's all about making money, man. Let's be honest. Because why didn't you care prior to all this happening? You know, there's a lot of people starving, you know. It's just, I can go on all day. Let's continue with this. I like this CANDACE Owens. She's different. I like the way she looks alive. It's different.
I don't know how much fentanyl he's taking to write a tweet like this. If you want to better your life, I think you would start by not using drugs and trying to buy stuff with fake money and resisting arrest from police officers. I don't know what world we live in.
Right.
Why are these people so lame?
They're just lying.
They're just making up stuff to stoke hatred and vitriol in our country. That guy was a thug. That guy was a criminal. That guy was using drugs. He's not an example of anybody. He don't represent me as a black man.
And I hate that. I want to point that out. I hate when people say to me, how do you not see yourself in George Floyd? How do you not see your brother, your cousin? I don't know. My brother and my cousins aren't ingesting fentanyl, resisting. Why would I see myself in George Floyd? What person goes, I really see myself in this drug addict and this person that's been arrested.
And also, one thing that pisses me off so much was that when this whole thing was happening, the people that were complaining are the ones that, you know, were breaking law. Like, I feel like if you leave, especially people say, oh, F the police, but don't do stuff that's gonna make the police come for you. Like, I've never had a run in with the police in my life. Yeah. And I live in areas where the police are active, but it's the way I live my life. I don't do stuff to make them come for me. Like, that's why sometimes, yeah, when they see police, you just get, this is like, you know, oh my God. Like, bro, relax. Like, whenever I see any policeman or policewoman come towards me, how you doing? You're right. That's the way I say things. I don't get nervous. I don't start getting agitated. It's the way you live your life. That's where people see you. When I'm around white areas, I just behave myself. You know, some people might feel like, oh my God, you know, yeah, I need to act something. Yeah, just be yourself, man. You know, again, it's just the way I live life, man. I live life just the way I treat people the way I want to be treated. Do you know what I mean? You know, respect. That's the way it should be.
And faced jail stints. I really see myself in this drug addict and this person that's been arrested and faced jail stints 9 times. Why am I forced to see myself? Because, we have a similar melanin complexion.
It tells you what they think of you, though.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they feel that's representative.
Well, and his name is now forever synonymous with justice, according to our Speaker of the House. How little must they think of the American people to have that as the hallmark of everything we should be looking towards to better our life and the end goal of where we should achieve things.
Yeah, what happened to the lady that he had at gunpoint, that they did a home invasion? Where's that justice? What happened to the people, who he probably was selling drugs to? What happened to his family? He's in another city. His family don't live there. How is this man the spokesperson of justice?
Yeah.
How is the movement today synonymous with justice when you look at what Martin Luther King...
Oh, it just said literally what I was going to go into. Do you know how many people that I see online that are fighting for justice? They should be the people that should be representing black people when it comes to this. A lot of people have died. A lot of people have died fighting for this kind of stuff, but no one talks about them. But then it's what's popular on social media, isn't it? It is. Let's be honest. Again, because I've seen a lot of people, posting, turning their Facebook profile, their Instagram black for the day. What's that about? I seen a lot of people that I know deep inside they didn't care, but then they posted it just to join. It's what's vibing, it's what's trending. I couldn't wow, why? I don't care. People are like, oh, why aren't you going for the match? Why? What's that gonna do? After 2-3 weeks, everyone's gonna forget about it. That's it. Literally. In June 2020, everyone probably thought, oh, it's gonna go on for a long time. After July, August, just went down. For a month, you couldn't go anywhere with anyone saying, oh my God, yeah, black life. Why does it have to be something that have to happen for people to, know not to be rude, be nice, just be normal? Again, I'm just a guy on the internet chatting shite, aren't I? Let's get back to this.
King did. They didn't beat people up, kill people, burn buildings, loot Louis Vuitton. They weren't doing those things.
Justice has gotten a makeover since the time of Martin Luther King. I'll tell you that for sure. And it's really despicable to see the way they are mischaracterizing him. I don't care what you think about him, whether you think that Derek Chauvin should have been guilty. The idea that this man should be hailed as a hero should be sickening to every single American.
That was so interesting. I actually really enjoyed that. Wow. Yeah, I think I need to start reacting to more of this, because my way of thinking is so different. Sometimes it's just better not to argue, not to talk to people, because if your belief doesn't align with them, they feel, oh my God, there's no point. Yeah, if you really like that, you want to check out any other stuff that's, something like this, please comment down below. Check out the Patreon, if I said earlier. Check out the membership. Like, comment, subscribe. See you soon. Bye-bye.